My name is T.D. Benton, and I am the dreamer and the creator of the Traveling Light Collar Sideshow. This is my lovely, wonderful, beautiful wife, Veronica, who plays the faceless woman in our performance. I was a drug addict for, a lot of years, and I went through 7 major lung operations. It's not that I never believed in God. I always believed in God. I just thought God was out to get me most of the time. I hated my life. You know, been in a mental institution before, going into psychologists, psychiatrists, always thinking that things are wrong with me and that God was the reason. After going through psychologists, psychiatrists, and ultimately thinking about suicide a lot of times in my life, I always turned to drugs, and it was a big part of my life. I didn't know how to have a conversation without being sped up or stoned or tripping on something, and didn't really know how to have human contact and be able to share that with anybody either. Music was a huge influence in my life, and whatever music told me to do, that's what I did. Eventually went through 7 lung surgeries. My lungs collapsed 3 times on each side, and I had to have them cemented glued into my rib cage. And after all of that, became addicted to all the painkillers that were helping me get by with living my life. I did factory work for around 7 years, and it was hard going through these surgeries and doing hard work. And so I would take painkillers like it was candy. A Christian guy at work that I would always go to and say, "Hey man, why don't you pray for me?" And he's like, "You know what? We should pray together." And I always say, I don't think so. I think that you believe and you can help me. God doesn't like me. A few days later, after that conversation, I went back to him and just really felt at the bottom of the barrel. Didn't know what else to do with my life. I was going to just kill myself. I went back and said, "Man, I'll try anything." And he prayed this prayer with me, and I was sitting on my forklift at work. I didn't believe for a second that my life was going to change. Ultimately, Christ became my drug, and God became my provider, and got out of the situations that I was in. He was taking care of me, and really challenging my life to live more boldly and more, how shall I say it, transparent, wearing my heart on my sleeve, being honest with everybody, and challenging other people around me. I had looked at pornography probably since I was in 3rd grade, and pornography ruled my life. And I didn't realize how much of an addiction that I had on pornography until I became a Christian and realized that it was taking over my life. But then as a Christian, who do you talk to? Who do you tell? Because sometimes Christians are the first ones to kind of hang you by the cross. I just became more and more of an addict. Veronica would go to bed, I would get up at 10 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd be on pornography websites. And here I was, trying to be a leader in a church, guiding people to God's presence, telling people that, hey, Jesus heals everything, and me playing in a local Christian rock band telling people the same thing, and I'm suffering.
It took me probably a year and a half to finally call him out, mainly because I didn't know pornography was an addiction. I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought it was my fault. I thought I'm not skinny enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not whatever enough for him, so he's having to turn to these women online. So I decided I needed to fix me. Ultimately, I fell into an eating disorder I'd struggled with in high school and college called bulimia, which is you eat a whole lot of food and then you throw it up. So that was my solution to get skinny. And that went on for probably a year, year and a half. I was trying to fix me and fix me and fix me, and he would sneak out of bed and go into the living room, and I would lay in bed and cry, and I'm struggling with my body image, and he's, off struggling with his own addiction. Finally, I had enough. I realized my solution was not fixing anything. And so I went to a local bookstore, and I found a huge section on men's hidden sins and sexual sins, and I had no clue that that was even out there. I had no clue that it was a struggle for so many men, We've learned now that 30 million men are clinically addicted to pornography, meaning they go to a doctor. He never went to a doctor, and so imagine all of the guys out there that don't even go to a doctor, and females. 30 million men go to a doctor. And so I got a book for him, and I got a book for me, and on cue, he snuck out of bed that night, and I just lay there and cried and prayed, and I didn't know what was going to happen. And so he snuck back in the room, and I had my back to the door, and I said, I know what you're doing. And he since told me he felt like it was the weight of the world coming off of his shoulders, because that was like his deep, secret, innermost thing, and it's finally out, somebody knows. So we just had a huge sit-down talk, and we're crying about it, and I had to confess to him what I had been struggling with over the last year and a half, and it wasn't his fault that I had struggled with bulimia. That was just my solution, really, to try to fix everything. We're just two broken individuals. Divorce was never an answer. That was never an option. When you get married, I don't care if you're a believer or what you believe, you become one. That's the point of being married. And so if you break your arm, you're not going to cut your arm off and be like, oh, I'm done with my arm. I don't need that anymore. And so we are one. So there's no, I can't just cut this off and get rid of this because I'm cutting my arm off.
And because she called me out to this freedom, I began to start having strange dreams. Very, very strange dreams. 10 o'clock at night till 4 o'clock in the morning, I would get back up again. But it was very spooky. I always say it's like Discovery Channel ghost hunter stuff. I would wake up and I would lay in bed and I would look over at my little dogs to see if they heard something. And it was very unusual for me. I'm a big horror movie fan. And I would get up and go look around, and I would go sit in the living room. And I would begin to start writing all my dreams down. Some of it was creepy, some of it was symbolic, and I would start writing. And for 3.5 years, I began kind of what became as the blueprint for Collar Sideshow. Everything on the stage and the characters and what we say and how to be transparent all came from those dreams. And I would tell my wife, who was a very successful businesswoman, hey, let's invest some money into this thing.
I never thought it was my thing. It was talking about his hidden addiction, and I was like, no, that's good. You guys can go, play your drums, but we're not spending money on this. And on July 16th, 2006, a missionary came and spoke at our church and was asking, what are you living for? What is your purpose in this life? What is your passion in this life? If you died today, what crowns would you have to place at Jesus' feet? I was about 27 at the time. We had a 4-bedroom house, 3 cars, 3/4 of an acre. Really anything you would want. We were living very comfortably. My short-term goals were a Mini Cooper, a couple Harleys. I wanted to go on a cruise, and we were going to go to Vegas on my 30th birthday. I realized if I did die, all I would have to place at Jesus' feet was my 1966 Austin Healey and a nice bank account. He was out of town, so I called him and I said, all these dreams you've been having, the Holy Spirit told me it is from God, and yelled jump. We're selling our house, we're selling our cars, we're selling every single thing that we own. We're taking an RV, we're going on the road, and we're doing whatever this is full time. We're not alone. There are, millions of wives out there that are struggling the same way I am, thinking that her husband's addiction is her fault. And so my story is to say it's not your fault. And then how many women are out there, and men, that are struggling with body image issues. That's such a facade that the church brings, because we were wearing masks. We were up on stage, I'm singing, telling everybody how, Jesus can free you from everything, yet I go home and I'm puking, and he's hopping online. Everybody at church, especially it seems like where we're from, they wear masks, and you think everybody's perfect, so you don't want to tell anybody what you're really going through. And so we want to go out there and say, we're not perfect. We've totally screwed up. You're not going to surprise us with anything you've done, because we can probably one-up you.
Trying to challenge people to be more transparent and honest and wearing their heart on their sleeve, no matter if it's going to get ripped up or not.
And to choose integrity. That's
Make
something
smart decisions
that the world has just lost, is a life of integrity.